living is an art, is a technique, is a skill. Just because you have lived 30, 40, 50 years, it doesn't mean that you know how to live. I'm not suggesting I only know how to live, but have you learned the art? Any art, skill or technique has to be learned and practiced. Like playing the violin or golf or piloting an aircraft. You'll have to learn it and practice it. Nobody understands living as an art, as a technique, because you believe that you know. So here is a knowledge which is a manual of living. Now you may wonder why I am telling you this when you have all lived these years. How have you lived your life? That's the question. Sir, if you buy a brand new Mercedes-Benz and you are driving on the highway, it's all the time missing, coughing, jerking. That's not how it should be driven. There's something wrong with the whole equipment. So you have to follow the manual of instructions, how to run it. It is a beautiful vehicle, provided you know how to run it. Similarly, the equipment that you have within you is the subtlest equipment. And nobody has really understood the importance of learning how to live our life. If you ask me, one look at all of you, it's too late. You can forget about it. There's no point in teaching you after, not the evening, the night of life. There's no point in teaching you all this. And youngsters don't come because of thanks to you. No youngster is here. Then you may ask me, why are you talking? Hopefully you will convey this to your youngsters. So, one of the things it discusses is what I've mentioned for the topic for the evening is, for the day, born in captivity. The problem is, many of the problems that we have in the world can be solved provided we understand that we have a problem. But human beings as a rule feel they know it. There's no problem. Joss Billings, a famous thinker, says the trouble with most folks is not their ignorance, but their knowing as many things which ain't so. If you, better the monitor, screen. The trouble with most folks is not so much their ignorance. You don't have it? Read it on the board there. Joss Billings. Is not so much their ignorance as their knowing so many things. We think we know. And one of the things that I'm highlighting today, that each one of you is in captivity. In fact, not human beings alone. All creatures are born in captivity. See, take a plant. There are 3 species, as you know: plant, animal, and human. When a plant is born, it could be born as a creeper or a giant banyan tree. It has no choice. It's born as a creeper. You know what a creeper is? You know what a banyan tree is? It's born in that captivity. It's no choice to change. Similarly, among animals, it could be a carnivore or a herbivore. It's no choice. A tiger is a tiger. A lamb is a lamb. It's born in captivity. So, the first thing that you're born in captivity, as soon as you're born, you're captive. Can anybody tell me what that captivity is? What are you born as? As soon as you're born, you're a captive, no choice. Huh? Gender, correct. You're either a male or a female. A male can't be a female, female can't be a male. You're born in captivity. You must realize that. First you start with captivity, very beginning. Then comes the real problem in life, from the day you're born till the day you die. Age 1 to 10. First 10 years of your life, approximately I'm talking about, you are in a all of us have been in a domestic prison. You're told what to do. Stand up, sit down, sit down. Huh? Go, go. Don't go, don't go. No choice whatsoever. The child is being totally controlled by the parents. It's a domestic prison for first 10 years. And the wardens are father and mother. Then you get slowly, they control them so much that young children, especially in the foreign countries, I've known 2 cases. One in the family that I knew, maybe thousands of cases that I knew, one in America, one in South Africa. The child was so much controlled by the parents, he locked the room and opened the window and screamed to the neighbor, I'm tortured, I'm tortured, I'm tortured. Neighbor phoned the police. It's not uncommon. In the Western countries, the children call the police. That amount of imprisonment. All of us went through that. In captivity. You may not remember. And the problem with humanity is, the moment you have power, you want to use it. Have power. As a parent, the first power you're given is over your children. So you want to use it maximum. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm telling you what's happening. No, it's for you to judge what is right, what is wrong. But you use the power on the children. See, a person, a police officer, has a power, certain power. He wants to use it fully. A government officer has a power. He wants to use it fully. Anybody has a little power, you want to use it. The finest culture is to have power and not use it. You can't imagine that. So, in South India, I don't know, I suppose they do the same thing here. When they bring up the children don't behave themselves properly. Little children, 3-4 years, hey, saapariya illaya? They say, are you going to eat the food or not? I don't want. Police say, கூப்பிடுவேன். Okay. They say, I'll call the police, and they eat. In England, when I was a student there, I observed children going all the time to the police fellows. No, I've been trained in a particular way, at least my concepts were different. Children flocking to the... So I went up one day to the policeman, hey, why do the children come to you all the time? It's a different experience I have in my country. Oh, I'm glad you asked me. We keep candies in our pocket. They keep candies in the pocket, and the children know the police have gone. They go and take the candy from the policeman. You must have power and not use it. I'm not saying you should not use it at all, not indiscriminately use it. So there's a parable in the scriptures, Shastras. A young woman was serving a master in the jungle, a Swami. They're called Pativrata. Pativrata means extremely devoted wives. The husband can do anything. There are wives who put up with all that nonsense, willingly, happily. But this was a great saint. He was living in the jungle. This young lady was serving him, the old man. She was married to him, and he was serving him. One day, the prince of the state came in a horseback, shikar. He came on a horseback and saw this ravenous beauty in the jungle. He could not believe such a beautiful woman in the jungle. So from the horseback, he saw her from a distance and said, "Whoever you are, whatever you be, I propose to you. I would like to marry you. I'm the prince." She didn't turn back. She said, "I'm already married." She said, "What does it matter? You will be the future queen of the state." She didn't listen to the fellow. She started walking. She came to fill water in a pitcher from the pond to take water to the cottage. This fellow, otherwise well behaved, he got down from the horse and tried to persuade her. He didn't want to disturb her, but genuinely wanted to marry her. She started falling, she started moving. And since he was catching up, she dropped the pitcher of water and started running. This fellow started running behind. Not to trouble her, but she was very clear that he should marry her. So the story is that she ran and he ran behind, and she ran and ran and he ran until she swooned. She swooned. Fell down. The fellow felt so bad. He brought some water and sprinkled on her face to revive her. And she opened her eyes. And he was standing there. Instantly he was reduced to ashes. Are you all following? The lady looked at him. He was reduced to ashes. That is the power she had. She had that power. She ran and ran to save him, not to her. That is human culture. Where is that and where are we? Little bit of power we have, we want to use it. So it starts with the parents. The moment they have power, therefore children are helpless. You want to use your power. So this is up to first 10 years. Now from 11 to 16, parents start dictating terms. Do this, don't do this. Do, don't do. Do, don't do. Doctrines and dogmas. Carefully listen, because it's your life. And the consequences you're facing, you may not know. Nobody knows what's happening. It's like having tuberculosis. I don't know. If you have a disease, it's dangerous. If you have a disease and you don't know, it's fatal. I'm trying to place the mirror before you to give you an idea of what's happening within you. And you keep on dictating terms, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Doctrines and dogmas constantly lavish 24/7 on the children. And two things happen. If you're constantly after your children with do's and don'ts, dogmas, two things. Remember this. If the children are passive, they become a vegetable. If the children are aggressive, they become rebels. How many parents have come to me and said, Swamiji, I don't know what's wrong with this girl. I don't know what's wrong with this boy. The fellow is impertinent, this and entirely contributed by the parents. Constantly after them. How do you like somebody riding on your back all the time, physically? After a while you say, sit down, please. You're riding on their backs all the time, mentally, and they can't stand it. They can't take it. So they become a vegetable. Vegetable means completely inert. I know a fellow who's got married, the parents got him married. He didn't know he was married. He literally didn't know he was married. The girl, after a few years, divorced and went away. He didn't know that he was divorced. After a while, they got him engaged. He didn't know he was engaged. Fortunately, the girl learnt the whole story. She left before the marriage. He didn't know. This is called vegetable. No action, no reaction. But if the children, some children are aggressive, if they're aggressive, they become rebels. They get out of the family. You can do whatever you like. There's a girl in Malabar Hill. It's a true story. Pathetic story. They may not come to you, they come to me. The only child, only girl they had, pampered on her. So many do's and don'ts. She ran away with a Nepali, the security fellow. First person she happened, that's the only person she met. They won't allow her to meet anybody else. He ran away. And they got the letter and they came and showed me. We are very happy, married, don't worry about us. This is rebel. Do you understand what I mean? I'm explaining what a vegetable and what a rebel is. Either you become a rebel or a vegetable. In Chennai, there's a doctor, a surgeon, many years ago. He was quite a famous surgeon. He built a 5-storied building to have a nursing home, his own nursing home. He had only one son, one issue. A fellow grew up. I knew the boy, very smart young fellow. He grew up and he was very keen on automobile engineering. He had that flair. So he applied for engineering college. He got a seat. His father flew into a rage. What is this nonsense about engineering college? I've already asked for a seat for you in a medical college. For whom did you think I built this 5-storied building? I'm going to carry with me? And he forced him into the medical college. No choice. First year, 2 years he spent. Second year, 2 years he spent. His friends and all said, look here, why are you forcing that fellow? He's not able to complete the course. Good foundation, he says. I studied only 1 year in each class. Now he is studying 2 years in a class. You know the subject better. He came out. Today, I will not give the name because you won't go to the nursing home. That fellow is operating halfway through the drivers, they've got ambulance vehicles. The driver comes and says, Pooji sir, Mandi. So he says, okay, halfway through your abdomen, he leaves it open and goes away. Fitting the cars. Of course, there are others to patch up. They'll patch up your stomach. But that fellow leaves the body and goes and attends to the cars. In the Bhagavad Gita it says, you must follow your swadharma. Paradharma bhayavaha means, if you do your paradharma means, dharma means nature. Swadharma means one's own nature. You must take to whatever your swadharma is. Otherwise, bhayavaha is terrible, it's fraught with fear. If you take a paradharmic activity, just because you are a son of a doctor, it doesn't mean that you should be a doctor. I'm not saying you should not. Just because you're a son of a businessman, it doesn't mean that you should do business. Sir, I come from a business family. Shipping was a line. When I left 60 years back, it was a 90-year-old business. A little bird told me, this is not for you. I'm not saying business is wrong, but it's not meant for me. And I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, but I knew I had to do something else, which was study and investigation, research in the subject. So if I had taken that, bhayavaha is terrible, he says. So you got to take to what you are designed for. And you tell, I've heard educated parents tell me, I have two children, Swami, they are 2 and 4. One I want him to be a doctor, another I want a lawyer. What is it? What are you doing? So, age 12, you keep on dictating terms. And then at the age of 16, when you grow up, go to the universities and all that, you are a victim of education. You're born in captivity, male or female. Then the first 12 years you are in a domestic prison. After that you are being dictated by your parents who know nothing about you, nothing about life. I can understand. The greatest of men have never said anything. Remember, knowledge is never given, it's taken. So the greatest of men never spoke, hardly spoke. Only when they were drawn, they were spoke. So you have people are giving you education all the time at home. And when you go to the universities, when you start schooling, then the entire education system has gone foul. And what has gone foul, you have to read a book written by Cardinal Newman, is an Englishman. Cardinal Newman writes a book entitled The Idea of a University. He wouldn't have written it now. 100 years back he writes and says, the English university, which means the world universities, are all becoming servile. He coins 2 words. He uses 2 words in with a special connotation. Liberal and servile. Liberal education is that which has no utility tag. Servile education is education which has a utility tag. Today, all education has a utility tag. Entirely becomes servile. Because the education is in the hands of the uneducated. The portfolio of education, who has? Fellows who have no idea of education. They may have degrees. So, the education has become servile. What is the use of that? See, I am running an academy near Lonavala. I am mentioning to you because all of you are disqualified. It's meant for youngsters, 18 to 25. Very few people, not even 1% react to it. This knowledge, when I'm talking to you, if there are 5 or 6 people who have understood what I'm saying, I'll be flattered. That is the ratio everywhere. And everybody will say, very good lecture, Swamiji. Very good. I'm glad I came. Very, very useful lecture. That's it. 4 or 5 people will come to me. I know who they are. They'll come. Every lecture, about 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4 people. Those people are the people who look for liberal education. Otherwise, it's just a utility tag. They want to know what is the use of it. So in this academy, when a few students like that come, parents themselves are a hindrance. Why are you going there? What is the use? After 3 years, what will you do? They keep on asking them. One student got fed up. He came and told me, "Sir, all the time these visitors come, Swami, I ask you, what are you going to do after 3 years? What is your future? What is your future?" One fellow said, "Sir, you really want to know what our future is?" "Yes. It is so bright that I can't see it," he says. That fellow never came again. They keep bothering you. What are you going to do after 3 years? Very rarely they come and ask me, "Swamiji, after 3 years what happens? 4th year starts." After 3 years, what? 4th year starts. After 4th year, 5th year starts. So, it is difficult to conceive this. The idea, there is one husband and wife who have one son in Nottingham, in England. The boy was so keen on taking the course after hearing my series of lectures. The father and mother, both are doctors. They said, "This fellow is very interested in a Mercedes-Benz, Swamiji. How will he get if he doesn't take a medical degree?" Medical degree is meant for Mercedes-Benz? And BMW engineering, I think. I don't understand this. So Cardinal Newman says, if you take up any education, it has to be for education's sake. You still can take medicine. You can still do engineering for engineering's sake. That is liberal education. The liberal is gone and we are following a herd instinct. Now what he is talking about, liberal education, you develop the intellect. Today you must understand all education is only providing you intelligence. Try to understand this very carefully. Intelligence you get from external agencies. It's just information, knowledge. You get from teachers and textbooks, you get from schools and universities, just information, knowledge, and you're making a living. You get a knowledge of medicine, you make a living. You get a knowledge of engineering, you make a living. You make a knowledge of finance, you make a living. That's about all. But you won't know how to handle your own spouse. You won't know how to handle your own children. You don't know how to handle your neighbor. You don't know how to handle the vicissitudes of nature, the fluctuations of the external world. No clue. Because you have not developed the intellect. Any amount of intelligence cannot develop the intellect. Intellect has to be developed by yourself. You must distinguish between intellect and intelligence. See it on the screen. try to digest those two words today. All that you are interested is intelligence, intelligence, intelligence. That's all. And you take so much trouble to send your children. Swamiji, my children got to the best schools. I have sent Eton, Harrow, I have sent my children. And I have sent them to the finishing school in Switzerland. I don't understand that. I understand, I don't know whether you understand. Finishing school means they finished the fellow off. What finishing school you are talking about? Finished. What is the divorce rate in United States? Western countries. Any idea? It's reaching 70%. Divorce. And those are the fellows who take a long time to select. The longer the time they take to select, shorter the marriage. Why is this? Why can't they investigate that? All sorts of investigations going on. Here also, all sorts of investigations, but the basics are not understood. There's an article that India found water in another planet. So there was a counter article in the United States. They should now find water in India. The planet they found out. Educate your children. What education are you talking about? I've got 4 degrees, sir. You think his fellows must be frustrated. He may not have gone to university. That is why he's talking like that. 4 degrees. When are you, anybody here with 4 degrees? Means nothing. By itself. I'm not saying degrees are useless. They only give you intelligence, but they don't give you intellect. How do you develop the intellect? Not accepting anything for granted. Questioning everything. 2 things you must have in mind. Never accept anything for granted. Question everything. You have accepted everything for granted. You don't question anything. You all went to primary school and high school. Why did you go to school, sir? School? What a question, Swamiji. Everybody goes to school. You're following your predecessors. Then what did you do? University. Why did you go to university? After school we go to university, no? Don't you know? Thank you. Just following what your predecessors have done. Then what did you do? I got a job. I joined a business. Why did you join a business? None of your business. Mechanical routine existence. Then what did you do? I got married. That, of course, is a big mistake, Swamiji. You got married. Why? Everybody gets married, Swamiji. Then what did you do? Got children. Why? Everybody gets children. Routine, mechanical life, following a herd instinct. If there's one person here who thought, why should I go to university? He'll be an outstanding person. And then go. Think, why should I get married? Then get married. There's only one fellow who thought that I know of. He went to Socrates and said, "Sir, I've decided to get married. Can you give me some advice?" He said, "By all means get married. If you get a good wife, you'll be very happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher." So, you know how we become philosophers? And if you are a great philosopher, it must be a terrible wife. So, the mechanical routine exists and you don't think, nobody thinks. Going on. And all the damages you meet and you're not aware, you get used to it. That is life, sir. You must have problems. Sir, in 2005, in Turkey, one sheep slipped from a cliff. One sheep slipped from a cliff. 1,500 sheep jumped to death. One sheep slipped, 1,500 sheep. You see it on the screen there? There's a paper cutting. So, this is herd instinct. You're following what others have done. Mechanically, routine process, no questioning at all. You must start prasnena, prasnena. The Bhagavad Gita says, you must question. Just don't take anything for granted. Even when I talk to you, you must question to yourself. Is he saying, is he talking in sense? If he's talking sense, take it. Otherwise, throw it out. So, you're held by, you're a captive of birth, you're captive till you're 10, you're captive till you're 16, you're captive of education. Now, you're also held by the environment. You're a captive of the environment. This is called mahat. And you don't realize that. You feel whatever you are is the best. Everybody feels that. You need a lot of objectivity to see that you may not be entirely correct in what you're thinking. An American thinks American. He thinks that's the way it should be American. And a South Indian Brahmin will think a South Indian Brahmin. This is not my. He says life is a South Indian or a North Indian. And then American is an American. A Chinese thinks Chinese. Japanese thinks Japanese. Royalty thinks royalties. The slum thinks slum. Each one is caught by the environment. A bird is born in the Siberian snow is different from the Arabian desert. The whole concept is different. And he's stuck there. Very rarely you find a person coming out of that shell. He's a captive. So if you are in a communist country, you become a communist. If you're a capitalist country, you become a capitalist. You are a slave of the environment. You don't realize that. You feel everything is all right. You can't think beyond the box. Businessman, business. That's it. You can't think beyond the box. An ordinary worker, he thinks that's life. There's no catholicity of vision. There's no objectivity at all. You need an intellect to be objective. So, as most of you may know that I have passed 86. A good part of my life I was under the British rule. It's sheer slavery then. You don't know what life is. Most of you won't know. It's sheer slavery. The Britishman walks that we stand up. Yes sir, no sir, 3 bucks. This is life. As I said, I come from a business family. Shipping is our business. We had principals who were the bosses of the companies, the chief executives of the companies, but we had to deal with those companies in business. My family was only 100 times richer than the fellow who was giving us the sanction, the principal. Richness-wise, we were far richer than them. But we were slaves to the English fellows. I remember when my family sent me for higher studies to England, a chap called Priestley, who was the boss of one of the biggest companies, which we are dealing with, shipping agents. So he told my father and uncle, I'm glad your son has gone to England. How is he doing? How is he doing? I like to meet him when he comes. I like to meet him. So these father, uncle were all excited. So when I came back, first thing they told me, Mr. Priestley is very anxious to meet you. Is that so? Okay, I'll meet him. I went, very, very fine human being. They both these characters brought me, my father, uncle, and introduced me to young man, I heard you played a lot of cricket. How was England? How was this thing? They was talking, and I was a very pleasant conversation. 20 minutes, I was sitting, and so as soon as I come, he says, wonderful to see you. Young man, sit down, he says. And I sat down and I was talking to him. After 20 minutes, shook hands and said, I'd like to meet you again. We'll get back to England, he said. So, and as soon as I left the office, my father turned down to me and said, this is what you have learned in England? My uncle says, I can't believe that you've behaved like this. I was stunned. I was as polite as I could be, as simple, and I want to impress my father and uncle more than that fellow. And they said, they were flying at me, what happened? I said, I unconditionally apologized. I said, I don't know what I did. I'm sorry, uncle. I don't know. Maybe, I'm sorry. What did I say? I only answered his questions. No, that was all right. You did very well. But you sat. What? You sat, he said. What do you mean he sat? He gave me a seat. He can offer you a seat. How can you sit? I didn't, these two characters were standing at the back. I didn't know. How can you sit? There are bosses. I sort of understood. I never understood that and never argued. Yes, I'm terribly sorry. I will never, ever sit anywhere. In the same country, there was a Mahatma Gandhi who treated them totally different from the entire masses. You understand? When the Englishman came and asked him, what exactly are you wanting? He said, I like that. You come to my house and ask me what I want. You take what you want and get out, he said. You can't ask me in my house what I want. I should ask you what you want. Entirely different approach. This is called vasanas. If your vasanas are strong, amidst any environment, it will show. If your vasanas is very, vasanas means your basic nature. If you don't have an intellect, powerful intellect, you will be a slave to the environment. And you are a slave to the environment because there's no intellect. There's only intelligence. So, what you must understand is, to use the intelligence, you need an intellect. Millions of doctors have passed through medical school, but one guy found out how to transplant a kidney. Millions of engineers have passed through engineering school. One guy put up the Panama Canal, the Euro Tunnel. I was invited to the Panama Canal, so it's a extraordinary feat of engineering. The ships come 3 tiers from one step to another step, down, goes to the other ocean. What a piece of engineering. Same engineering school the fellow studied. Another guy bore the Euro Tunnel. Otherwise, you're just a compounder. You may be a doctor, you just is prescribing what that fellow has discovered. Same school. When you have an intellect, you're outstanding. So, and next thing that happens is, as I said, you're a captive of your birth, you're captive at home, you're captive by the parents, you're captive of your education, you're captive of the Mahat environment. Environment decides what you are. Nelson Mandela was also in the apartheid, but he viewed the whole thing differently. Said, you're not here to take care of us, we take care of ourselves. You're out, you go out. He had to spend 27 years in jail to establish his authority. There was one Mandela, there is one Mandela, one Gandhi. So therefore you could free yourself. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Otherwise it's a very pessimistic approach to the whole thing. Oh God, Sunday morning I came, everything is so gloomy, everything is wrong with us. No, you could learn to free yourself from this trauma. Constant captivity. It doesn't end there. So the worst captivity you have is you're a captive of your own mind. That's the worst. You're captive, the mind develops attachment. And you're not aware at all. The most intelligent person here is not aware that he is a victim of his attachment. The mind gets attached. It's like a super glue. Wherever it alights, it gets attached. A boy meets a girl, he's attached. He runs a family, he's get attached to the family. You start a business, you attach to the business. You earn money, you get attached to money. You get name, fame, you get attached to it. Then you say, enough is enough, I've had enough of this. You get hold of a Swami, attached to that fellow. Suffocate him. Anything you do, you're attached. Attachment spells disaster. It's a law. I can't change it, you can't change it. And you're attached to everything. And you don't realize it. The problem is nobody knows what's happening. So, interesting thing is, I have written 10 books. They've all been compiled into the complete works of Swami Parthasarathy. I don't know whether it's available. You can ask for it. Complete works. After writing the complete works, I'm writing the last book. It's not suddenly, I think, well, I finished complete works, there is there. Now I'm writing another book. I realize people don't understand that is a problem. So I've given all the solutions without the problem. I'm not joking. Very good, Swamiji. I have all your 10 books. You don't find the necessity to study that because you don't understand that you need it. And this book is only telling you what is wrong. Attachment. It's all about attachment. Now, if I had given this book first without solutions, it's absurd. I will tell you all the diseases you suffer, no medicines. Now, medicines are there, now you have the disease. What is the disease? The virus of attachment. You're attached to wealth. People are attached to wealth. And anybody who's attached to wealth is in misery. There's an article I read in England. The title of the article was, "Are you bored? Question mark. Are you miserable? Question mark. You must be rich." Arey kya? What is this? Are you bored, miserable? You must be rich. So I picked up that article. Fabulous article. Now what he's saying is, people go into what is known as a wealth fatigue syndrome. One of the most fatiguing thing is to have wealth. And especially if you had wealth from childhood, you don't understand the value of wealth. It's a boredom. He's describing a party which is held in a yacht, 500 feet yacht, and everybody is enjoying the party. thoroughly. And they say, what a beautiful party, what an evening we have spent. Thank you very much. They're thanking the host. Thank you. We have thoroughly enjoyed your... Then the fellow, the host, do you see that? What a yacht! 500 feet yacht. Do you see that? They all look there. 800 feet yacht. He is after 800 feet yacht. Wealth fatigue syndrome. Constantly you're chasing something, you don't know what you're chasing. Recently I was introduced to a man in a wedding and said, Swamiji, you must meet him. He's the third richest Indian. I shook hands. I'm not telling you who he is because you will know him. Unless you go and trouble him. Swamiji is the third richest Indian. I shook hands with him. And then I told that man, did you tell him that I am number one? So I am the richest, he is third richest. Of course, that man was very courteous. Of course, Swamiji, who will not agree? Everybody will agree. You are the richest, you are not in the way that you think, in the way that I think. Then he got confused. You are very rich. You are a pauper. He knows that I am a pauper and he is still rich in your own way. But this is, in your way, I am richer than number one. Sir, what is richness and poverty? Who is rich, who is poor? Anybody can answer that question? I'm tired. Who is rich, who is poor? In the academy, I have missiles, you know. Anybody giving a wrong answer will get it. They didn't keep any missiles here. Who's rich, who's poor? Detached. A big detachment. I don't understand your word, detachment. What's that? Contented. In a way, you're right. See, richness and poverty, please understand this. When your desires overtake your wealth, you have a ceiling, you have a line of wealth. If your desires overtake, you're a poor man. If your desires are contained within that level, your level of wealth, you're a rich man. It is not in the quantum. That's what you have to learn. It's not in the quantum. You have 10 million and your desire is to have 20 million. You're a poor man. You have 10 million and you're quite satisfied with 5. You're happy. But you could aspire and get 20, 50, 100, you can get 1 billion. Aspiration is no problem, but your desire should be contained within the level of your wealth. Then you are a rich man. Otherwise, you're in poverty. You could have any amount, but you haven't got this, haven't got that. See, all the time, remember this statement I'm making. Never let your present happiness be dependent upon future acquisition. Never let your present happiness be linked with future acquisition. If I get that, I'll be happy. If I get that, I'll be happy. If I get that, permanently unhappy. So who is rich, who is poor? So therefore, friends, wealth is one thing. So you are running after quantum. The Bhagavad Gita says you should work constantly. Inaction is death. So you got to act. You got to achieve. You can get more and more riches. There's no taboo on that. But never let your desire suffocate you. See, that's what happened in America 2008. That greed, that more and more, crash. I can't think a single person whose wealth is entirely his. 70% belongs to the bank. So what are you talking about wealth? Is there anybody whose wealth is entirely his? I salute him or her. Yes, I'm a rich man. 70% I owe the bank. So therefore that greed, that craving for wealth keeps you unhappy. So attachment to wealth, not wealth. Wealth is Lakshmi. So therefore, you could be attached to wealth, the spouse. Another deadly attachment is the spouse. You get attached to the spouse, and when you get attached to the spouse, no husband, wife talk to each other. They call me only to talk to each other. Swamiji, ask her what she did Friday. Swamiji, find out what he did on Thursday. Hey, what did you do on Thursday? What did you do on Friday? I am going on like this. You may ask me, why do I go for other things? They give me a good meal and a good envelope to take, that's it. So they are talking, they don't talk to each other because of attachment. Love and attachment are opposed to each other. When love is vitiated by selfishness, it tends sour into attachment. Love plus selfishness equals attachment. Attachment minus selfishness equals love. See it on the screen. That's the equation. Oliver Goldsmith says there's no such thing as love. It's all attachment. You're attached to your spouse. And therefore you can't talk to each other. I've known two people, husband and wife, living in two rooms, separate rooms. They talk through cell phone. And they don't talk to each other. The fellow goes to Delhi from Bombay on business, checks in a hotel and phones the wife. I've reached. She says, how sad, and puts the phone down. They don't talk at home. When there is attachment, father and children don't talk to each other. Cannot, because of attachment. Spouses don't talk. It's nothing to do with talk. It's because of extreme attachment. There's automatic revulsion. And you get attached to the children, next is children. I've already told you from the beginning, you go on because of attachment, harping on them. You lost them. You lost them. They're waiting for a chance to get out of the house. Find out. See, look at animals. They're fond of their children. Only up to a point. After they grow up, out you go. Now we are attached to son and grandson and grandson, son-in-law also. You must learn from animals. Extremely disciplined. So therefore, then children you're attached to. And they suffocate them, they leave the house. They become a vegetable or a rebel. They leave the house. I'm not criticizing, I'm trying making you aware of how you should go about it. So then comes the worst of all, religion. You're attached to your religion. As a result of which I hate you, you hate me. Finished. That's it. That's the language. All the battles have been fought in the name of religion. Today there is disagreement, disharmony in the world because of religion, attachment to religion. Religion is a wonderful thing. All the essentials are forgotten, the non-essentials are followed. And the non-essentials, there is a difference. You have a mark like this, I have a mark like this, you go to one house, I go to one house of worship, and there is a quarrel. Sex and sex and sex and creeds because of attachment. And religion is the deadliest attachment. In fact, you're attached to everything that you meet. So unless you develop the intellect, you can't control the mind which gets attached. It's the mind that gets attached. So you'll have to develop the intellect to control the mind's activity. As I said, it gets attached. I'm just giving you a few tips to understand. Everything it gets attached. So you've got to fight this virus. It's a virus which is destroying the whole humankind. The human race is gone because of every form of attachment. So because of attachment to wealth, people are corrupt. People are corrupt. You hear they're corrupt. You are attached to something. You are attached to alcohol. And every day you're drinking to death. And he's attached to wealth. He's corrupt. Another person is attached to a woman. See, attachment could be different things. You don't see it generally. What you are suffering from, you don't see. You only point out another. He's attached to women. He's attached to wealth. He's attached to name, fame. Most people are attached to most things. So, the only way to fight this virus is to develop the intellect. There is no other way. You've got to develop the intellect. Any amount of intelligence won't do. The people who are giving seminars on stress are twice divorced. They're giving seminars on stress. The people don't understand. So what you have to do is to develop the intellect. Since it is too late, at the age of 7, 8, you must start asking questions. Why? What? Never take anything for granted. But it's too late now. Therefore, I've written 3 books. As you know, I've written 10 books, but the first 3 books, if you read them, not read them, study them carefully, it's not difficult. First book is called The Fall of the Human Intellect. Fall of the Human Intellect. Second book is Governing Business and Relationships. How to govern your business and relationship. Any business. Even if you are unemployed, you are doing some business, you are monkey business. Some business you are doing, how to deal with the world and relationships. So, Governing Business and Relations. Second book, Fall of the Human Intellect, Governing Business, Relationship, and third is the Vedanta treatise. These 3 books are designed to develop your intellect. If you know any other method to develop the intellect, go ahead. I am not a fanatic and say read these books. But if you have understood this is a possibility, you've got to take these 3 books and read in this order. Fall of the Human Intellect, Governing Business, and Vedanta treatise. Thin book first, thicker next, thickest last. Because I get calls from everywhere. Which book first, which book last? Thin book first, thicker next, thickest last. So they say book. So if you go to the bookstall here, they have kept a set of 3 books. These 3 set only. Ask for the set. It's all set. But Fall of the Human Intellect, these 3 books you've got to read. Study should be, it's not reading, it's studying, number 1. It has to be early. We get up for the last 65 years. I've got up at 4 o'clock, including today. You understand? Every day. I am not suggesting 4 o'clock for you, at least 5. If you can't, because by 6 you must finish 1 hour study. By 6 you must finish. If you can't, for whatever reasons, 5, 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, 6, thereafter doesn't matter, any time. So, early morning study. Every day. If you want to develop the intellect, every day. And this order. Study daily in that order. Within 6 months you see the difference. You will be able to judge for yourself the difference. You will be able to hold the mind in its place. The Bhagavad Gita as the chariot. The chariot is only the body. The horses are the senses. The mind holds the reins, and the chariot is the intellect. Charioteer is the intellect. Krishna is the charioteer. The intellect holds the mind, that's the reins, and the horses go in the right direction. Horses are your senses. The senses go in the right direction. If the intellect is asleep, not developed, reins are loose, the horses go helter-skelter. That's what's happening. The senses go in different directions, and there's a crash. Same thing happened to Christ. Satan asked him, is there anything you want from the world? He said, famous words of Christ, I'll have none at thy hands, get thee behind me, Satan. I'll have none at thy hands, get thee behind me. Means mind must follow the intellect. Intellect doesn't follow the mind. Today there's no intellect. Mind does whatever. Mind has no directions, no dimensions. It does whatever it wants. And where you are. If you want to gather yourself and have a control of the mind, you must develop the intellect. Start with these 3 books. Thank you very much.